Hey, everybody. Just gonna give people another minute or so to sign on, because I am admittedly working on a minor tech issue, which is inconsequential, but in the event it can be remedied. We'll officially wait one more minute, and then maybe we will still even have some stragglers. All right, we'll get started, you guys. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
I don't know which screen you see. Do you see just the welcome, or do you see a whole hodgepodge of stuff?
It's a welcome, and then there's like an article saying who you are.
Yeah, okay, you're seeing all the hodgepodge of stuff, and I'm not sure why that's the case, but my apologies. So you can follow along as I read my notes here. So there you go. Yay, technology. Yeah, I'm Ellen Shadle. I'm the principal planner for the city of Jamestown. Sorry, did someone have a question? Am I reverbing?
No.
Okay, all right. Just some housekeeping before we get started. As we make our way to a discussion point, just after kind of going over the overview of the pilot. For the moment, go ahead and mute yourselves. We can be unmuted once we start our discussion here otherwise. And if it needs to be reiterated, just to keep our discussion respectful, it's going to be addressing the general design of the pilot itself. This is not really going to be our forum to debate any other attendee or something. And of course, if there's questions that aren't answered tonight, just reach out directly. The DoD email is on the current slide. And so I'll move ahead from there. So for the purposes of this pilot, a mobile food vendor is a person, corporation, company, or business that sells food and beverages from the roadway using a licensed vehicle capable of movement, or from a licensed trailer pulled behind a motor vehicle. So this pilot program covers all mobile food vendors, whether they are trailers, trucks, or carts. And so one of the reasons that we are in favor of food trucks is because they generate activity that create engaging places and spaces, vibrant atmospheres, along with endorsing entrepreneurialism in the city of Jamestown. You'll see the basic permitting process or the fees for permitting on the left-hand side of the slide. And so this also provides us with a means of connecting with people in other places we might not otherwise go. And so if that food truck gives us a spot to visit that we might not otherwise have circumstances that take us there, the food truck can be that welcome circumstance. So along with the independent vendor activity, we look forward to coordinating and collaborating with truck operators to promote vendors' operations and affirm the city's support for the program. And so to that end, to demonstrate that, the city is planning 3 events to not just support, but also be an invested participant in the success of those events during what is presumably going to be the most active period for 2021 between April and October. And we haven't gone beyond that to select those dates yet, but that's just kind of on the horizon as to where we go. And of course, my quick poll here, I'm having additional tech issues. So while I look for my poll, I am going to, there we go. Just these were some of the things that were shared in the discussion last week. If you want to kind of absorb, if any of these comments stimulate some of your own questions or things that you might want addressed, feel welcome to kind of piggyback off any of these. And I can always come back to these. I'm just gonna move forward on the slide there. If anything jumps out to you as far as discussion goes. So while I'm trying to unearth my poll that has disappeared into the interweb, I'm ready to open it up for discussion. If there's questions, comments, chime in.
You know, I'm always here to chat.
It looks like those who are on, I think Jane might be the only new person. I think Jade was here last week, right?
Nope.
No, Jade, you didn't participate last week? Okay, so we've got two new folks. I think Chris was here last week, and Missy, I know you were here.
Yep.
Does anyone have any initial thoughts, anything that you'd like to ask or talk about? Any concerns, questions?
I mean, I'll kind of chat a little bit here. I know that I've talked to a couple people that do have food trucks, you know, since the last meeting. And, you know, one of the things that comes up a lot seems like people don't want to be downtown. And, you know, I mean, I like how you say open spaces, and, you know, your little food truck at the beginning of the presentation has like 3 different sayings at the bottom, and I cannot remember exactly what they are, but I know something says about open spaces. Correct? Okay. So one of the things that, you know, I attribute my experiences is food trucks with food trucks. So you don't always just want to have like one random food truck over here, one random food truck over there, because it doesn't give people the options. And I know that, you know, like I kind of talk about the little food truck rally you guys had in the beginning. Jade, did you go to that? Jade was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like, that's what when I think of a food truck, that's what I think of. I think of, you know, couple of food trucks, get a little taste from over here, get a little taste from over there, share, you know, have areas where you can sit and have your friends, especially, you know, like coming from Austin where it's food truck mania down there. And one of the things that I think I might have said last time is that you won't see an actual food truck downtown Austin unless it's attached to a brick and mortar. And so I know that that's something that we have here kind of. And I think that that's a good thing to draw off of is there's so many, if you drive around the city of Jamestown, there's so many open spaces. There's a lot of that. And I think that, you know, how many food trucks have showed interest so far? Is there,
I don't
Is
know
there a
specifically off the
number?
top of my head. We've been in contact with probably 5 or 6.
Okay. That's a good, I mean, it really is a good start.
But we haven't had any applications submitted yet.
Okay.
But I think, you know, hopefully this will help kind of clear that up,
Right.
and give folks an opportunity to ask questions and, yeah, so.
Yeah.
And
Cause
also,
it
you know,
I mean,
the weather
it's
hasn't broken yet, so.
right.
You know, I
It's
think
such a hard, like broad thing that you're trying to do in different ways. Like, you know, you have different kinds of people that are going to have different kinds of trucks, and you don't want to put like 2 trucks that are the same cuisine in the same spot because, I mean, yeah, they call that a chili cook-off. You know, they call that a rib fest, you know, or something like that. So, one of the other things that I just had thought about when Ellen was talking and kind of thinking about a bunch of the things that we talked about last meeting was, you know, teaming up with like the local churches. I think we talk about that last time, or was that another conversation?
I don't recall that coming up, but
I think that that's a good, you have so many churches in different areas of the city, and yes, they're owned, and you know, but you still would have to have the permit, you know what I mean? Even though it's owned, you still kind of want to make sure that people have a permit so that the city can keep tabs on what's going on in the city, I guess. But one of the ways I think that you can get people to kind of, you know, come around, and one of the suggestions is I know it's very short notice, but they're having that turning the river green on Saturday. And I had mentioned, I think I'd left you a voicemail, Crystal, and I also left one for Eddie, because I know it's like a couple days away, but maybe this is a good way to start that, you know, connection with people that do own the food trucks. Tie it in, maybe have, I think Bill Stevenson said that 3 C's Catering or someone from somewhere is going to bring like cookies and coffee and hot chocolate, you know, and, you know, I mean, we don't even know how many people are going to show up. You know, this is like the little event in Jamestown in over a year. So I thought, gosh, you know, maybe, you know, do you have to get the permission from Friendly's to use that parking lot, Crystal? So you'd have to do that before you'd be able to even say, oh, hey, Jade, hey, so-and-so, you want to bring your truck down?
private property, you need to get authorization from the property owner.
Gotcha. Okay. That was just a suggestion. I mean, I figured, and then that way, if you have like 3 food trucks that come, not only does it give the people that are coming to see the river turn green, but they're able to come get a little snack. And that parking lot's big enough that you could really social distance people. Like one person could be over there, one person could be over there. And then that way, even if you came out of that with 3 applications, that's 3 applications more than today. So I don't know. That was my idea. And like I said, it's like Saturday. So
Yeah. Thanks, Missy.
yep, you're welcome.
Can I speak on something that she said?
Absolutely.
I think she mentioned about being in private property and still needing a permit, which I wouldn't agree upon because we already have a permit through the Chautauqua County Health Department, which will keep tabs on trucks per se. So private property should not be needing a permit from the city of Jamestown. Also, with the permit fees, Some trucks only run maybe 3 to 6 months out of the year, so $500, which was prior, is very steep for that amount. So I agree with lowering the fees for residents.
Great. Thanks, Jade.
How much is the thing you get from the county, Jade? Do you mind me asking?
Between $150 and $200 per year.
And how long per year?
Mhm.
Okay. I just don't think but that's coming from a perspective is that I'm not a food truck owner.
Correct.
So, like if you had to pay a fee to the city, because this is a pilot program, and you do want to make sure that the city makes out a little bit of money on top of the food truck person, and that's where, the permit for the city gets to kind of have those other things, correct, Ellen?
What other things?
So she gets her health department certificate or whatever, and then if the city was to ask on top of that for a resident, it would be total $300, correct? If you had to get one from the city and one from the county.
Right. So they're two different. I mean, they're not the same permit for the county
Right.
and the city. They're two different kinds of
Permits.
Right. Yeah.
The county
one's
one is the health.
Yeah, that's
Right.
the health certificate. Yeah.
Right.
And so from the city, it's that is giving you the privilege to operate.
Right. And that's where, I think that confusion comes in too, is that, if I'm talking to a food truck owner, I want to make sure that I have the correct information. If I say to them, oh, hey, you want to come to Jamestown, but you got to pay this, or you got to pay that on top of this, does that make any sense?
Basically, there's the health permit and the operating permit.
Right. So even if you were on private property in Jamestown, would you need a permit? No.
Yeah, because you need, you need authorization from the property owner.
Right.
You don't need a permit for that property owner. You just need to have a clear agreement from that property owner that you have permission to be on their property.
And the city permit is for city property.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, to operate on city property. Yeah.
So that means so when you say city property, what does that entail? Parks?
The public space. The public space.
Okay.
Yep.
So if Jade had a permit from the city, she could pull up at Bergman Park anytime she wanted and sell her food. Question mark.
Right.
Okay. With permission going in the park or no? Yes.
Yes.
Is it a double permission? Is it so she says, okay, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to go to Bergman. I'm going to go to, and then Tuesday, Thursday, I'm going to go sit at Chattacoin Park.
Yep.
And
So
she just says to you,
That's part of the request when the food truck operators submit their permit request, is that if they have a schedule, and let's say it's, for the heck of it, let's say they're always going to be at one particular place on Tuesdays and Thursdays and another place on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
right.
They submit that with their application. If they
Right.
plan to move around every week, we ask that they update us so we know where they're going to be every
Right.
day.
And is the question that you're going to ask food truck owners, are they going to move around? Are they going to stay in
Yes.
those are going to be part of the application.
Yep.
Right. It's just asking them where they're going to be operating.
Right. Because if you own a food truck and you really wanted to make a lot of money, you would pick the same spot 5 days a week, or something like that, right?
That's up to the food truck operators.
That doesn't necessarily seem true it's different every day. But speaking of the parks, I would just like to mention that for the last 3 years, I've been restricted from the parks. You cannot enter a park unless you pay $250 per every 8 hours, and they discouraged you from being in the park. So without this pilot program, we will not be able to go in the park.
Right, right.
Any other thoughts, questions?
You're welcome to submit in the chat as well if you'd rather not speak your questions or comments. Or again, you can email us or give us a call.
I'm gonna go buy a food truck. Heck yeah, for $150 and a license, you know, 100, 300.
Good
I mean,
luck.
I know it's not, listen, I know it's
Good
not,
luck. Good luck to you.
I know it's not that easy. I know it's not that easy. I know, Jade. I know.
But yeah, the more the merrier. I'm for it. I'm not for, I don't necessarily want to be downtown. I want to be able to go freely where I want. I would put it in writing to where I would be, of course, and have a set schedule. And now speaking of downtown, as far as a food truck being downtown, which is Diana Scott, I could see why she would want to be downtown because she already has an existing spot directly across the street from where she has her truck. So to me, that's like a special exception for her.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's something that is included in the program as it's written currently. So if you have a restaurant, for example, Hotspot Cafe has a hot dog cart. So they're able to pull their hot dog cart out in front of their business. They don't do it all the time, but when they want to, they're able to. So that is also part of this pilot program.
Because I know I team up with other food trucks. We try to find, open spaces. I was talking to another food truck earlier today, Cherry Bomb Barbecue, who we're going to team up and do some things on Washington Street and open spaces and things like that. So I don't necessarily know of many people that want to actually go downtown and try to compete with the businesses down there.
Okay. That's really great information for us to have, actually. Since I don't know if any of the other participants have food trucks, but Jade, since you are a food truck operator, do you have, in looking at the program as it's written, do you have any thoughts on, are we off the mark? Are there things that, need to be revised? Like should there be designated, like specific designated areas? We've heard that from some different folks. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree as far as the approximate feet from already a brick mortar restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as other property, I feel it should be free reign. Like, I'm interested in adding an ice cream machine to my truck this year and focusing more on that. So I'm hoping to be able to schedule different streets, I would say, throughout the week in different areas of town.
Mm-hmm.
And also maybe scheduling after T-ball and soccer events at the fields, that type of thing. So that's my main focus for starting, I'm hoping May 1st. So I'm getting ready to submit my application. I just wanted to make sure there was no major changes before I submitted the application.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great. Thanks.
And I'm very happy with the program.
Great.
It's helped me significantly as far as restrictions. Some of the restrictions were outrageous, and I know they haven't been changed in 100 years. So
welcome to the future.
Starting to change them is like a huge step for not just me, for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any outside interests? Wait, like
not
outside of
really.
Jamestown?
Not, I mean, I wouldn't say far, not from far outside.
Has anybody reached out to Siri Food Truck?
Siri Thai.
Siri Thai Food Truck?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the only one that I mean, I don't know of any others besides the guy in Mayville, right? Like there's one guy in Mayville, what was it?
Kev's Kitchen. Yep.
Kev's Kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, there's not, it's not like there's, 100 food trucks
Oh, right.
operating
Mhm.
within Chautauqua County, let alone.
Right, let alone.
Jamestown. So,
But this might give a great opportunity for people to realize that they can put a business in a car, in a truck. And and really like when I say coming from Austin, like people eat from food trucks on a daily basis. They're always there. And one of the things I mentioned, I think last time, where I mentioned to you, Crystal, is attaching a food truck with a bar, maybe sometimes, because like maybe the food restriction is going to be lifted from bars only. I think it's a talk about or whatever,
mhm.
but that would still be a great opportunity and a great advertising opportunity for both places, especially because we've been through such a crappy
Yeah.
year with everybody losing out. And one of the reasons I say it is because of Mary Green down at Sneakers. She has a great area that there is city property down there that you could pull over on the side of the street and put one tire up on the I don't know about all that, but that's what sometimes people do, is one tire up on the sidewalk and belly
Yeah,
up
we
to
frown
the
upon that.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you want to make sure that like they're in a good spot, that they're taken care of. There's also a parking lot across the street. There's Chautauqua Center down there. You're not only getting the bar business, but you might be getting, other business and whatnot. So that was an idea too. And like, I wish there was 20 food trucks, because I think food trucks all over town would be great.
What does necessarily the city have to do with me pulling up between the Chautauqua Center and Sneakers? Like, isn't that my right if I have a permit?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
I think
okay.
Missy's point was that, Sneakers doesn't have a fully functional kitchen. So the suggestion is partnering with those types of establishments who maybe they don't have a kitchen, but they offer bar service. So,
Sure.
having that, maybe Mary calling you, Jade, and saying, hey, you want to come down on Friday night and Saturday night and be
Serve
here for
some
my
pizza or
customers. I'll
something.
let them bring the food into the bar, and just to kind of, I think help both of your businesses.
Right.
Did I get that right, Missy?
Yeah, because they do it like there's a lot of and I know it's a lot warmer in Austin than it is here all year round or whatever, but it's hot to sit outside in August and September in Texas. So we have to remember that too, like they don't all sit outside all year round. But so anyway, there's a lot of bars that don't have food, and then the food truck, could almost become part of the establishment, and who knows. But I guess one of the things I was meaning about that is the city streets. Like you can't just pull up in a curbside, right? Like you can't just, can you pull up in is that as long as
The permit allows you to be able to
just do
pull
that.
over next to the,
Okay.
so now in this case, because Sneakers does not offer food, that wouldn't be
on the
violating that
permit.
125 feet.
Oh, right.
But I would not, I would still recommend that you say, hey, I'm going to come park in front of your business, right? Just kind of get the nod of approval. And it's not to say that if there were another restaurant that you partnered with for some reason, that you agreed that you could park directly in front of their business, that you could come to that agreement. You would just have to show, a letter from that restaurant saying,
Right.
we're okay with this food truck parking in front of our business.
Now, what about alcohol?
What about it?
Can alcohol? Can,
That's a whole other beast.
can
Well, I know
alcohol
there's
drink-
Merit Winery has like a wine slushy van, but I mean, they have a liquor license, so
Yeah.
that's,
Right, so
there's
you
a whole
have to have a
nother.
liquor license
Yeah,
with
there's
a,
special licenses that you have to get, and those are typically, they couldn't just pull up
in
on a
anywhere.
Saturday afternoon and serve wine slushies out of their truck. There's
Right, right, because I would think about doing that, like
yeah.
going around
New York
like the-
State liquor laws are a bit more strict than that.
yeah, I kind of thought so.
If it was a special event, they also would get a special event permit to be able
Oh.
to be at that event. That's typically what they'll do because of
Okay,
the complexities with liquor licenses.
yeah, can't just be serving some Bud Light out of your tap
Right.
there.
Not that I would be sad about that.
Right.
Could use a wine slushie right about now.
I know, right? Like, can we just get a margarita truck and drove around and serve tacos and margaritas? Come on, Jade, get on that.
Yeah. That would be my next journey.
All right. Again, I'll prompt anyone for thoughts or questions. And if not, we can wrap it up for today. We'll be back on Monday. So if you need to chime in again, you can meet us on Monday. How's that?
Thank you.
I promise I won't come.
You're welcome to come anytime. Bring friends.
I tried. I brought Jade. I tried to make sure Jade got here.
And we do really appreciate your participation and any comments and questions. We had a lot of good input at the last meeting. And so we'll do this again, as Ellen said. And, as this continues to evolve, there were some suggestions that were made at the last meeting that we, absolutely will take into consideration. And, we ask everyone to just kind of be patient with us. We want to make sure that this works for everybody. And, there will continue to be opportunities to participate in this because it is a pilot program. And so it is meant to be fluid at this point and to evolve a bit. So, just to kind of remind everyone that is the intention of the pilot program. So,
Because there are a lot of areas in the city that don't have any food close for people to walk.
Mhm.
And like I think about the west side over by Bergman Park. When you get over in that part of that area, there's like nothing unless you go to Foote Avenue or if you
Right.
go over Brooklyn Square, and then the south side has food everywhere. And so does Lakewood. North side, yes, but down farther, and then you get to the east side and there's not a lot of food at all.
Right.
Really. So I think it's a great idea. I'm happy to be a part of this and give my input because I like I said, living in Austin, I'll say that a lot. And I'm actually going in a month down there and I thought, God, this is really I thought that I had some pictures of food truck areas, but I'm going down there for a week and I'm going to go and I'll take some pictures and I'll send them to Crystal and she can share them with you, Ellen. And because there are a lot of great ideas if we can evolve this pilot program into becoming, a bigger success and more people joining on the food truck bandwagon, because that's what it needs to be. I believe that it's the way of the future.
Right.
All right. So on that note, have a great night, you guys.
Yeah, you too.
And
Thank
join
you.
us on Monday if you
Thanks,
want. All right.
everyone.
All right.